Well, I've just been listening to the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, a very uncompromising tone there. We really get a sense of a completely deadlocked Security Council. Sergei Lavrov talking about violations of the 9th of September agreement between Russia and the US, violations by rebel groups, as he sees it. He talked about various violations of the truce by groups such as Ahrar al-Sham, which are, of course, supported by the other side in the Syrian conflict. He mentioned that as far as the aid convoy that was bombed 2 days ago near Aleppo, he said that was that happened in an area under rebel control, and the general gist of his speech is that basically the rebels are to blame for what's happening right now, and really you get the sense that it's very hard to see a way forward with such a divided Security Council. We've heard also the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon speaking, as well as Staffan de Mistura, the Special Envoy on Syria, both talking about the need to get the political process back on track, trying to get the rebels and the government to talk to each other, not just by proximity talks, but directly. But really, when you contrast their speeches, the speeches of Ban Ki-moon and Staffan de Mistura at the Security Council, you get the sense that they're worlds away from the Russian view of things, and it's really extremely difficult to see how this process can go forward on the ceasefire, or how that September the 9th agreement between the US and the Russians can be salvaged.
John Kerry, though, saying after a meeting that Sergei Lavrov was at as well, that the ceasefire isn't dead. Is that just a diplomatic talk, or is there a real sense there that there is some hope?
Well, there are more meetings planned, but it's hard to see what can come out of them in terms of any steps that are going to affect what's actually happening on the ground. I mean, the International Syria Support Group, which was meeting yesterday, they've planned another get-together on Friday. Really, as far as the UN concerned, that is kind of the main body that could perhaps come up with something. And certainly that was kind of underlined by the UN Special Envoy in Syria, Staffan de Mistura, just a few moments ago. But once again, it's very hard to see beyond issuing verbal calls for all sides to respect the truce, to go back to that September 9th agreement between Russia and the US. It's obviously going to be diplomatic statements for the rest of the week, but in terms of the mood on the ground, it's so out of step with the calls that we heard today from the UN Secretary General that very hard to see how this process can move forward.
Thank you, Armin. Armin Georgian in New York for us.